Dr. Vextai's clawed fingers moved across the control panel as he watched the screens in front of him. His green scales caught the light from the monitors that showed Containment Bay 7. The research station floated in space around a dead moon, far from any civilized worlds. "Another test subject," he said to Dr. Yelkan, who stood beside him. Both aliens had long necks and sharp teeth. They worked for the Galactic Council, testing different species to see how strong or weak they were. On the screen, a human sat on a metal bench in a small room. The man had black hair and wore simple gray clothes. His name was Kim Miho. He had been caught when his ship tried to make peace talks with the Council. Now he was their prisoner. "Look at him," Dr. Vextai said with disgust. "No claws, no sharp teeth, no thick skin to protect him. How did humans even survive long enough to build spaceships?" Miho ate his food slowly. The meal was just brown paste and water, but he did not complain. He looked around the room with calm eyes, studying the walls and the ceiling. Most prisoners would be crying or screaming by now. This human just sat quietly. "He has no idea what we have planned for him," Dr. Yelkan said. His voice made a hissing sound when he talked. "This will be over quickly." Behind a thick metal wall in the next room, something big moved in the darkness. The creature was called a Nexary. It came from Mortis Prime, a planet where everything was deadly. The Nexary was 8 feet tall and covered in black armor-like skin. Its claws could cut through steel. Its spit was like acid that could melt metal. The research team had tested 12 different alien species against this predator. All of them died within minutes. The Nexary was too fast, too strong, and too smart. It killed everything they put in with it. "The humans think they are special," Dr. Vextai said. "They want to join the Galactic Council. They want to be treated like equals. This test will show everyone what they really are." The Nexary had been hungry for 3 days. This made it even more dangerous. When it saw prey, it would attack without mercy. The humans called themselves peaceful, but the Council needed to know if they could survive real danger. Dr. Yelkan checked the recording devices. All cameras are working. "The Council will see everything that happens here." "Good," Dr. Vextai replied. "When other species see how weak humans are, no one will want to ally with them." On the screen, Miho finished his meal. He set the empty bowl down and walked to the wall. He touched the metal surface with his hand, feeling the texture. Then he sat back down and closed his eyes for a moment. "Is he sleeping?" Dr. Yelkan asked. "How can he be so calm?" "Stupid creature probably does not understand the danger," Dr. Vextai said. "Most species can smell the Nexary through the wall. They know death is coming." But Miho did not look scared. He opened his eyes and looked directly at the camera. For a moment, it seemed like he was looking right at the 2 scientists. Then he smiled slightly and looked away. "Strange," Dr. Yelkan muttered. The other test subjects were all terrified by now. Dr. Vextai moved his claw over the release button. Once he pressed it, the wall between the 2 rooms would open. The Nexary would rush in, and the human would die. It was that simple. "The betting pool says he will last 30 seconds, Dr. Yelkan said. "I think that is too long." "I give him 15 seconds, Dr. Vextai replied. "Humans are even weaker than they look." In the next room, the Nexary began to pace. It could smell the human now. Its yellow eyes glowed in the darkness. Saliva dripped from its mouth, creating small holes in the metal floor where the acid touched. The creature was perfect for hunting. Its hearing could pick up a heartbeat from 50 feet away. Its eyes could see in complete darkness. Its muscles could move faster than most species could think. "Begin recording," Dr. Vextai ordered. Recording started. Dr. Yelkan confirmed. "This is Dr. Vextai, Research Station Omega 7. He spoke into the microphone. Test Subject 847, Human Designation Kim Miho. Predator is Nexary Specimen Alpha 9. Beginning containment breach in 3, 2, 1. His claw pressed a button. The metal wall began to slide up with a loud grinding noise. The gap grew wider and wider. Soon the Nexary would be able to fit through the opening. "Here we go," Dr. Yelkan said. "Another quick kill for our records. But as they watched their screens, something unexpected happened. The human did not run. He did not scream. Instead, Kim Miho stood up slowly and faced the opening wall. He was ready for whatever came next. The metal wall made a loud hissing sound as it went up. Steam came out from the sides where the barrier had been sealed. The opening grew bigger and bigger until there was enough space for something large to pass through. From the dark room came the Nexery. It was huge, like a giant black monster from nightmares. Its skin looked like armor made of dark metal. Muscles moved under its shell as it walked forward. Its yellow eyes glowed in the dim light. Dr. Vextai and Dr. Yelkan pressed their faces close to their viewing screens. They had seen this happen 12 times before. First, the test subject would see the Nexery. Then they would scream and try to run away. Finally, the creature would catch them and kill them in seconds. But Kim Miho did something different. He stayed sitting on his metal bench. He turned his head slowly to look at the monster walking toward him. His face was calm. He did not look scared at all. "What is the human doing?" Dr. Yelkan asked in a quiet voice. "Why is he not running?" The Nexery stopped in the middle of the room. It tilted its large head to one side, like a dog trying to understand something new. Its prey was not acting the way prey should act. "Maybe he is frozen with fear," Dr. Vextai said. "Some creatures cannot move when they are too scared." But Miho did not look frozen. He looked at the Nexery with interest, like he was studying it. His dark eyes moved from the creature's head down to its claws, then back up again. The Nexery made a low growling sound. It had been hungry for 3 days. The smell of the human made its mouth water. Acid dripped from its teeth and made small holes in the floor. Then the monster attacked. It jumped forward with a terrible scream that hurt the ears. Its claws came out like knives. Its mouth opened wide, showing rows of sharp teeth. Dr. Vextai expected to see blood and death. Instead, something amazing happened. At the very last second, Miho stood up and took one step to the side. The Nexery flew past him and crashed into the wall behind where he had been sitting. The impact was so hard that the metal wall made a loud bang. "Impossible," Dr. Yelkan whispered. "No test subject has ever survived the first attack." The Nexery shook its head and got back on its feet. It looked confused. Where did the human go? How did such a small, weak creature move so fast? Miho was now standing near the center of the room. He held his hands up where the Nexery could see them. His palms were open, showing he had no weapons. Then he began to speak. "Hello," Miho said in a soft voice. "I know you are hungry. I know you are angry. But I am not going to fight you." The words meant nothing to the Nexery, but the tone was gentle. The creature had never heard a prey animal speak to it this way before. Usually they screamed or begged. Dr. Vextai frantically pressed buttons on his control panel. "The audio must be broken. Are you recording this?" "Yes, everything is recording," Dr. Yelkan replied. His voice sounded shocked. "The human is talking to it." The Nexery began to walk in a circle around Miho. It was trying to understand this strange new prey. The human turned slowly, always keeping the creature in sight, but he did not try to run away. "I can see you are smart," Miho continued talking. "Your eyes show intelligence. You are not just a mindless beast, are you?" The Nexery stopped circling. It sat back on its powerful legs and studied the human. This was not how the game was supposed to go. The prey was supposed to run so it could chase and catch it. "This makes no sense," Dr. Vextai said. "The Nexery should have killed him by now." Minutes passed. The human kept talking in his calm voice. He told the Nexery that he could see it was a magnificent creature. He said it must be lonely in the dark room all by itself. The monster's head tilted again. Something about the human's voice was different from the sounds made by its usual food. The other test subjects had made high, frightening noises. This one made low, peaceful sounds. Dr. Yelkan looked at the readings on his screen. The Nexery's stress levels are dropping. Its heart rate is slowing down. "That cannot be right," Dr. Vextai said. "Check the sensors." But the sensors were working fine. As Miho continued to speak, the Nexery became less aggressive. It was still dangerous. still ready to attack, but it was also curious about this strange creature that did not fear it. An hour went by. The two scientists watched in amazement as the human and the monster faced each other in the small room. Neither attacked. Neither ran away. They just looked at each other, while Miho kept talking in his gentle voice. "This has never happened before," Dr. Yelkan said. "What do we do now?" Dr. Vextai did not know. All their plans had been based on the human dying quickly. Now he had to write a report to the Galactic Council explaining why their test subject was still alive and why the most dangerous creature in their facility seemed to be listening to him. 3 days had passed since the test began. Dr. Vextai sat at his desk, staring at the report he needed to send to the Galactic Council. His clawed hands shook as he tried to find the right words to explain what was happening. The human was supposed to be dead by now. Instead, Kim Miho was doing something no one had ever seen before. He was making friends with the most dangerous creature in the galaxy. On the first day, Miho had saved some food from his meal. When the Nexari came close, he threw small pieces of meat toward the creature. The monster was suspicious at first, but hunger won. It ate the food while watching the human carefully. On the second day, Miho did the same thing at the same time. The Nexari began to expect the food. It would come to the same spot and wait. A routine was forming. "Look at this." Dr. Yelkan pointed at his screen. "The human is studying the creature like we study test subjects." It was true. Miho spent hours watching the Nexari's behavior. He noticed that when the creature was curious, it tilted its big head to the left. When it was happy, its tail moved slowly from side to side. When it was upset, the tail stayed still. The Nexari also made different sounds. Sometimes it growled deep and low. Other times it made higher clicking noises. Miho seemed to understand what each sound meant. "He is treating it like a pet," Dr. Yelkan said with disbelief. "Not like a killer." Dr. Vextai watched as Miho picked up pieces of broken metal from the floor. Instead of making weapons, he bent and twisted the metal into strange shapes. Then he threw these objects across the room. The Nexari's eyes followed the flying metal. Its head turned as the pieces bounced and rolled. Then, to everyone's surprise, the creature walked over and picked up one of the metal pieces with its claws. "What is it doing?" Dr. Yelkan asked. The Nexari brought the metal back to Miho. It dropped the piece at the human's feet, like a dog bringing back a stick. Miho smiled and threw it again. The creature chased it once more. "Impossible," Dr. Vextai whispered. "It is playing. The Nexari is playing a game." Dr. Ketare, another scientist, ran into the room with data charts in her hands. "You need to see this," she said, breathing hard. "The Nexari's blood test shows something amazing." She put the charts on the table. "Its stress chemicals have dropped by more than half. Before the human came, the creature was always angry and afraid. Now it is calm most of the time." "That cannot be right," Dr. Vextai said. "Check the test again." "I checked them 5 times, Dr. Ketare replied. "And look at this brain scan. The Nexari is using parts of its mind that were never active before. It is thinking in new ways." On the viewing screen, they could see Miho making more toys from scrap metal. He created puzzles that the Nexari had to solve to get food treats. The creature learned quickly how to move pieces and open hidden compartments. "The human has figured out that the Nexari was not evil," Dr. Yelkan said slowly. "It was just bored and lonely." This was a terrible discovery for the research team. They had always believed the Nexari was a perfect killing machine. It was supposed to be pure aggression with no other thoughts or feelings. But Miho was proving them wrong. On the 3rd evening, something happened that made Dr. Vextai's blood run cold. The human walked very slowly toward the Nexari. He moved his hands carefully, showing he meant no harm. The creature could have killed him with one swipe of its claws. Instead, it stayed perfectly still. It watched Miho with its glowing yellow eyes as the human came closer and closer. "He is going to die," Dr. Yelkan whispered. "The Nexari will never let anything get that close." But the monster did not attack. When Miho was close enough to touch it, the Nexari lowered its huge head. The human reached out slowly and gently touched the creature's nose. The Nexery's eyes closed. Its body relaxed. A low, rumbling sound came from its throat, but not a growl. It sounded almost like a cat purring. "This is impossible," Dr. Vextai said. His voice cracked with fear. "What has the human done to our predator?" For several minutes, they watched Miho pet the Nexery's scarred head. The creature that had killed 12 test subjects now seemed as gentle as a house pet. Dr. Vextai realized he had a big problem. The Galactic Council expected to see a report about human weakness. Instead, he had to tell them that a single human had tamed their most dangerous weapon using nothing but patience and kindness. The human had not conquered the Nexery with strength or technology. He had done something much more powerful. He had understood it. And that understanding had changed everything. By the 5th day, Dr. Vextai knew he was in serious trouble. He sat in his office, looking at the report he had to send to the Galactic Council. His hands shook as he typed the words that would probably end his career. The human had done the impossible. Kim Miho had become friends with the Nexery. It started small. On the 4th day, Miho had shown the creature how to push buttons on a simple control panel. The Nexery watched carefully, then used its claws to press the same buttons. When it got the sequence right, a small door opened and food came out. "Look at this," Dr. Kadare said, pointing to her screens. The Nexery learned that puzzle in less than 10 minutes. It took our trained researchers 3 hours to figure out. The creature was smart, much smarter than anyone had realized. Under Miho's gentle teaching, it began to solve problems that had stumped the science team. It could open locked boxes, navigate mazes, and even stack objects in the right order to reach high places. But the most amazing thing was how it followed Miho's instructions. The human would point at something, and the Nexery would go look at it. Miho would make a hand gesture, and the creature would sit down or move to a different spot. How is he controlling it? Dr. Yelkan asked during their morning meeting. There are no shock collars, no pain devices, no fear tactics. Dr. Vextai watched the video feeds from the containment room. The Nexery was not obeying out of fear. It was obeying because it wanted to. The creature seemed to enjoy the games and puzzles Miho created. The human is not controlling it, Dr. Vextai said slowly. They are working together. This was a terrifying thought. If humans could make allies out of apex predators, what did that mean for the rest of the galaxy? What other dangerous creatures could they befriend? On the 5th morning, something went wrong. Miho woke up feeling sick. The prison food was not good for humans, and after days of eating nothing but nutrient paste, his body was getting weak. He tried to stand up, but fell back onto his bench. His face was pale, and sweat covered his forehead. He could barely lift his head. The Nexery noticed immediately. The creature came over and sniffed the air around Miho. Its yellow eye showed concern. It made soft clicking sounds, like it was trying to ask what was wrong. The Nexery is worried about the human, Dr. Kadare observed. Look at its body language. The massive creature positioned itself between Miho and the observation cameras. It spread its body wide, creating a barrier. Then it began to pace back and forth, making low growling sounds. When the automatic food dispenser dropped the Nexery's morning meal, the creature ignored it. It stayed by Miho's side, watching him with worried eyes. Why is it not eating? Dr. Yelkan asked. Hours passed. The Nexery's food sat untouched while the creature maintained a protective position over the sick human. Every time Miho moved or made a sound, the Nexery would lean down and gently nuzzle him with its huge head. It is refusing to eat until the human gets better, Dr. Vextai said with amazement. It is choosing to starve rather than leave his side. The research team had never seen behavior like this before. The Nexery was supposed to be a selfish predator that cared only about hunting and feeding. But here it was sacrificing its own needs to protect a member of another species. They have bonded. Dr. Vextai said the words quietly, but they hit the room like a bomb. The human and the Nexery have formed an emotional connection. Dr. Yelkan stared at the screens. That should be impossible. Nexery do not form bonds with prey species. Humans are not prey, Dr. Curry said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at her. We have been thinking about this all wrong. Humans are not weak because they lack claws or fangs. They are strong because they can make friends with anything. The implications of this discovery made Dr. Vextai feel sick. If humans could bond with Nexri, they could probably bond with any species in the galaxy. They could turn enemies into allies, monsters into protectors. The Galactic Council had captured one human to test his weakness. Instead, they had discovered humanity's greatest strength. Late that night, the medical team finally gave Miho better food and medicine. As soon as the human began to recover, the Nexri relaxed. It ate its meal for first time in 2 days and returned to playing with the toys Miho had made. Dr. Vextai finished typing his report. He knew the council would not believe him. They would think he was making it up or that his equipment was broken. But he had video proof of everything that had happened. A weak, primitive human had done what their best scientists could not do. He had understood the heart of a monster and turned it into a friend. And that made humans the most dangerous species in the galaxy. Dr. Vextai's hands trembled as he read the message on his secure communication device. The words from the Galactic Council were clear and cold. Experiment terminated. Eliminate all subjects immediately. No exceptions. He looked up at Dr. Yelkan, who had received the same message. Both scientists knew what this meant. They had to kill the human and the Nexri before anyone else learned what had happened in Containment Bay 7. How long do we have? Dr. Yelkan asked. The gas system can be activated in 10 minutes. Dr. Vextai replied. Both subjects will be dead in 30 seconds once we start the process. But as they prepared the lethal gas, something strange happened on their viewing screens. The Nexri suddenly became restless. It lifted its head and sniffed the air. Its yellow eyes grew wide with alarm. What is it doing? Dr. Yelkan wondered. The creature began pacing around the room in quick, nervous circles. It made sharp clicking sounds that seemed urgent and afraid. Then it moved to stand directly over Kim Miho, spreading its body like a shield. Miho was still weak from being sick, but he saw the change in his friend's behavior. The Nexri was trying to protect him from something. The human's eyes moved to the air vents in the ceiling, then to the sealed door of their prison. They know, Dr. Vextai whispered in horror. Somehow, they know what we are planning. Miho struggled to his feet and put his hand on the Nexri's side. He spoke to the creature in soft, urgent words. The massive predator lowered its head to listen, like it understood every word the human said. Gas release in 5 minutes, announced a computer voice throughout the station. That was when everything went wrong for the research team. Miho pointed to a specific spot on the wall where several pipes came together. The Nexri moved to that location and began tearing at the metal with its claws. Sparks flew as the creature's razor-sharp talons cut through the reinforced steel like it was paper. Stop them, Dr. Vextai shouted, but it was too late. While the Nexri destroyed the wall, Miho used the metal toys they had made together to create something new. He connected pieces in ways that turned them into tools. With these improvised devices, he began working on the electronic control panel near the door. How does he know how to do that? Dr. Yelkan asked in panic. Gas release in 3 minutes. The Nexri had torn a huge hole in the wall, exposing the inner workings of the containment system. Miho directed the creature to specific cables and pipes. The Nexri cut through them one by one, following the human's instructions perfectly. Alarms began blaring throughout the research station. Red lights flashed in every corridor. The computer announced that containment systems were failing. This is impossible, Dr. Yelkan said, staring at his screens. That containment room was designed to hold anything. Even a fully armed military team would need hours to break out. But the human and the Nexri were not just breaking out. They were working together like they had trained for this moment their whole lives. Miho's intelligence combined with the Nexri's raw power created a force that the station's designers had never imagined. Gas release in 1 minute. The door to Containment Bay 7 exploded outward as the Nexri smashed through the final barrier. Metal chunks flew down the corridor, making the security guards run for cover. Miho rode on the creature's back as they moved through the station. He guided the Nexery past the most dangerous areas while the creature used his claws to tear through anything that blocked their path. Security teams stopped them. Dr. Vextai screamed into his communicator, but the guard were too frightened to get close. The Nexery was 8 feet of pure destruction, and it was protecting the human with deadly determination. Anyone who tried to approach was driven back by snapping jaws and slashing claws. Dr. Vextai grabbed his emergency transmitter and sent a desperate message to the Galactic Council. "We made a terrible mistake," he said, his voice shaking with fear. "Humans are not weak. They're the most dangerous species in the galaxy." The security cameras showed Miho and the Nexery reaching the escape pod bay. The human jumped down from his friend's back and began working on the pod's controls. The Nexery stood guard, watching for any threats. "They don't survive by being strong." Dr. Vextai continued his message. "They survive by making friends. They can turn any creature into an ally, even our most deadly predators. Even us, if we are not careful." The escape pod's engine started with a bright blue glow. Miho climbed into the pilot's seat, while the Nexery carefully folded its large body into the passenger area. The creature that had killed 12 test subjects was now gentle and careful, making sure not to hurt its human companion. "We may have just made humanity our enemy." Dr. Vextai finished his warning. The pod launched into space, carrying the most unlikely pair of friends the galaxy had ever seen. As they disappeared among the stars, Dr. Vextai realized that everything the Council thought they knew about humans was wrong, and that mistake might destroy them all.